endless dreams for every girl and boy.
Hey everybody! On this episode today I'm going to do a review of my Backstage Magic tour that I got to take on my last trip in June. On the Disney website, the tour is billed as a 7.5-hour walking tour of behind the scenes at the parks. There's no price on the Disney website, but according to www.info.com, the running price is $238, around about that price. I had a discount because I am an annual pass holder, so mine turned out to be $202, which was great. If you have any kind of discount, pass holder, Disney Visa, anything like that, AAA, I really recommend using it. It can take a lot off of the price. The day started at 8:45. That's the time they asked us to be out in front of guest relations at Epcot. There was a nice sign, knew exactly where to go. They asked us to be there at 8:45 so that we could leave at 9. Right at around 8:45, our tour guide showed up. Her name was Gina. She was such a sweet lady and exactly what you would expect a Disney World tour guide to be like. She was from the Disney Institute. So along with knowing all the stuff from the tour, she was also very knowledgeable and answered any question we had about anything. She later told us in the trip that she started working with Disney back on the college program when it was the Magic Kingdom college program, and that she fell in love with it and stayed and has been there ever since. And that's really awesome for me. And she worked in entertainment, she said, which is awesome. She looked like she could have been a very good friend of Cinderella one day, but she was really great and I loved her. So we left right at 9. We left the Epcot main gate, went out to the parking lot, and waiting for us was one of the Disney Cruise Line buses that you may recognize from the Magical Express. And our bus driver was there, he had it running. This day was really, really hot. We were there with 111 heat indexes someday. So it was great to have that bus. It was so cool, it was nice. And when we got on the bus, I noticed there was a cooler filled with water and there was extra water to be put in the cooler. And they told us we could have water at any time during the day and to keep it with us, which that I thought was an awesome touch, because we definitely needed it. When we first met our tour guide, they gave us each a name tag. This name tag had our name. It says Backstage Magic, and it's really cute too. And we had to sign both sides, so that we wore this anytime we were on the tour, just so that cast members knew we were on the tour, and so that we wouldn't get yelled at for being backstage. Also, when we got on the bus, we were handed our PALs. They are personal audio listening devices. They don't have a D, but personal audio listening system. That's it, PAL. It was a little device about this big that hooked onto our pockets like a walkie-talkie, and it had a wire with a earpiece attached to it. And Gina had a microphone she clipped on right here. So no matter where we were, she would talk normally and we could hear her because she was going right into our ears. So like when we went certain places that were louder, she didn't have to strain her voice and we could hear everything she said. That was really cool. I really appreciated that because too, we had a larger group, about 15, which they only allowed 20. She kept saying it was a small group, but there were times we were in single file lines, and you're 15 people back, and you're looking at something, but you can still hear her. You don't have to be like, what'd she say? So that was really great. So we got on the bus, and Gina told us more about her and about what we were going to do that day. And we drove around and exited Epcot, and then we started to go backstage at Epcot. We went back behind World Showcase. Security at every park. They came onto the bus, looked through our bags, so no matter which entrance you take, they look through your bags. And then we drove behind World Showcase back to the American Adventure Pavilion. And we went on stage, and no one was in World Showcase. It was before World Showcase. It was before World Showcase had opened for that day, so there were people still working in Italy, fixing flowers. It was really cool. And she did some trivia about Epcot and just told us about the overall design of Epcot. Then we went around American Adventure. If you know where the store is, we went around that way and went to that building, and there was a really neat thing about the forced perspective of American Adventure. You know how the front is made to look like a 3-story building? Well, when you walk around the back, you can definitely tell it's not a 3-story building. And we went into behind the stage in American Adventure. That was awesome. I don't know if it was because I had no idea what was back there, or that back there really even existed, but I was amazed. That was the first thing we did that day, and I walked in the room and went, because it's so cool. Saw how the different scenes rise up onto the stage with the animatronics and things like that. Got to see one of the faces of Mark Twain up close. It was really cool. So after that, we went and got back on the bus, and that was actually our only stop at Epcot, the onstage stop and American Adventure. We got back on the bus and left Epcot and went to the Magic Kingdom. We first headed around to the back of the Magic Kingdom, and we went somewhere that I had no idea we would be going to. We went to Central Shops, which I don't know if any of you know what that is, but that is where they make basically everything you see in Disney World. This was the thing I was most impressed with, was seeing Central Shops. We got to see almost all of the workshops, the woodworking shop. There was one large corridor that went through the whole building. It was this giant, giant warehouse. All the way through this main corridor, you could see from one end to another all these ride vehicles in different stages of production and fixing. Like, there was a boat from Living with the Land at one end, and we walked past the shells of Space Mountain cars, and one of the ride vehicles from Primeval Whirl, and it was so cool getting to see that. We went through one place where they were making new logs for Splash Mountain. Like, we got to see them working on that kind of stuff. I got to actually play kind of with one of the birds from the Tiki Room that had since been retired, but I got to go up and press in little buttons and make its head move and its beak open. It was so cool. I loved it. I loved it so much. That was so cool. We also saw the engraving workshop. We didn't go in, but we saw where it was. That their biggest thing they do every year is making name tags for the cast members. That's their biggest job. The next stop was the Magic Kingdom. And we started with a bathroom break, but that took us on to Main Street, USA. And our tour guide, she took us onto the street. They were doing the Move It, Shake It, Celebrate It street party, so it was kind of loud, but we could still hear her thanks to our pals. And then she pointed out some of the windows and told about the windows on Main Street. And that was neat, hearing some specific stories about each window. Then we went backstage again, and she goes, "Now, there are these rumors about tunnels under the Magic Kingdom." And she told us we were going into the utilidors, and me, being the Disney freak and future cast member that I am at that moment, started going, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna see the tunnels!"